You know, here at the platform, we are very much about freedom of speech and expression. Now, earlier this week, Sean spoke with Jonathan Ayling from the Free Speech Union discussing new revelations that police have a training program designed to help officers to help identify hate speech and take action against it, even though in some instances such laws don't exist. To find out more, the boss of Free Speech Union, Jonathan Ayling, is with me now. Jonathan, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Leah.
I have to say, my friend, that I know you contacted Kelly, my wonderful producer, kind of just before my show, so I haven't been all over it as much as Sean and I know you guys had a big conversation about it. So could you just fill me in and also the listeners about what's going on?
Well, look, Leah, I would say that the further I get into looking into this, and we've been working on this issue for just over a week now, the more I look into it, the more I'm convinced that this is possibly the biggest issue the Free Speech Union has ever dealt with here in New Zealand.
Wow.
We were set up 3 years ago, and we've had a fair bit come down the pike, but I have just been shocked and outraged at what we've discovered is happening over at police. After the Christchurch inquiry was released, the recommendation 42 said that police should review the way that they consider hate speech and hate crimes. And it seems that the police have taken that as gospel and gone way ahead of where Parliament or the government has taken us on those issues. So there's two prongs that we need to keep in mind there, both the hate speech and the hate crime issue. In New Zealand, we do have hate speech laws. They're very limited. The bar to cross that is very, very high. In fact, there's only ever been one prosecution under the law that is currently there. But we have no reference whatsoever in any of our laws to anything called hate crimes. And so the police have created a designation called hate crimes, and just today we've had a senior police officer reach out to us with further information. They've created an online intranet called Hate Hub, and any officer who comes across hate speech or evidence of hate crimes needs to recognise, record and respond to that hate speech and those hate crimes in that place there. The criteria, apparently, according to this senior officer, to have an incident lodged in the Hate Hub is twofold. A minority individual has to have been involved, and they have to have claimed it was motivated by hate. That was it. It's entirely subjective. It's based fully on the impression of an individual that the speech that they encountered or the criminal activity that they encountered was motivated by hate. And so it seems to me just entirely subjective, entirely out of the realms of what Parliament has ever done. And what we need to remember, Leah, is that the previous government put forward 3 different recommendations of proposed changes to hate speech laws, and they were rebuffed each time. And so for police, they've gone, oh, well, never mind, we'll go ahead and do it ourselves. The training that these officers are doing includes examples of hate speech that they should be prepared for. And some of the examples included that claiming there is only 2 genders is an example of hate speech that should have individuals.
Hang on, if I was to go to a rally and to say I held up a sign that said there are only 2 genders, the police would see that as hate speech from me. Supposedly.
The police would supposedly, according to this training, should see that as hate speech, should recognise it as such, should record it in Hate Hub, and then, based on the data that they are accumulating, then respond where appropriate. And so imagine, Leah, that I assume you have an entirely clear criminal record, but you turned up to a rally. You turned up to a rally and made the audacious claim that there are only 2 genders. And then the next week you wanted to get a gun license to go down to the range with a few friends and practice using a handgun. It would be possible that because of the record, what's called a non-criminal hate incident record that they are recording, that in the future you could have your gun license refused because you came along to this protest with a sign that says there's only 2 genders. Another example that they included in the training was a billboard that said Kiwi, not Iwi. And
I
not
remember.
20 years ago, that was a slogan for the National Party in 2025. And look, your listeners, I'll leave it up to them. I'm not here to tell them what to think on this issue. They can think that that is a offensive claim or a constructive claim or however you want to interpret it. What they can't suggest is that it's an illegal claim, that it is illegal for someone to use a billboard like that. And so the Free Speech Union is outraged at this. We have seen some members of Parliament get involved, and we are meeting with the Commissioner of Police next week. But I'm pretty certain that we'll end up in court over this. We're saying, look, the training stops, or we'll see you in court. There's no middle ground on this. This is entirely unacceptable. And we're running
Oh, sorry. Someone's texted in and said, what about that lady that was on the bus counting how many Asians were getting on board? And would that be hate speech? And then saying 11, there's 11 Asians too many. That's apparently what she said.
Possibly. Leah, what I think
that's nasty. I mean, that's nasty, but it's not. I mean, is that hate? Is that what we're talking about?
Well, you tell me, Leah. You let any one of your listeners say that's the whole point with hate speech.
Yeah.
The whole point with hate